Today we're exposing the fatal flaws of 4 attacks, the girl that went inside the crocodile exclusion cage and she was not alone, then a surfer that fights a 13-foot American crocodile, and we'll be finishing in the mangroves of Myanmar, when a conservation success story created a deadly pressure cooker for the local villagers. So guys, stick around. Hello, welcome back to Teeth and Water. I'm Matic. We're covering crocodilian stories. Let's start with the first attack in Nilwala River, that is Udahadua, Matara district, Sri Lanka, South Asia. The date of the attack is 4th of April 2012. The time is 6:30. Nuwanthika is 18-year-old schoolgirl and she is preparing to go to school, and she decides to go for a quick bathe or wash in the water. Now this Nilwala River is very dangerous place, so the government installed so-called Kimbulkotuwas or CEE, crocodile exclusion enclosures. So these cages are installed at the river's edge. One side is in the water, the other on the land, and on this day a reptile supposedly find a gap in the enclosure, went inside, waited till this 18-year-old schoolgirl started bathing, and then it grabbed her, dragged her underwater and through that hole outside the enclosure. Now they find the body of Nuwanthika 3 hours later, 2 kilometers away. So this reptile took her, wanted to consume her. It's a predatory nature attack. They found the crocodile 11 days later, so on the 15th of April, and it was a 12-footer man-eater saltwater crocodile. They don't say if the animal was destroyed, in this case 12-footer saltwater crocodile, and also if they found something, I assume because they claim this was the crocodile that killed her. It's time for what went wrong. In this case, Nuwanthika did everything she was told. She stayed inside the cage, but she made one mistake. She trusted this cage too much. The authorities say they were kind of rusted away in disrepair, and she trusted her life and did not check if the area is clear. Now that part is on her. Now the second part is on the government for sure. They would have to secure this area, these cages, to not be rotten, not be broken with gaps. Otherwise, this is not a shield for locals. It's a lunchbox basically for crocodiles. So it's a messy and complex one. Let's get to another case, the second one on the attack on a surfer in Colombia. For the second case, we go to Castino Beach. This is near the entrance of Tayrona National Park, Colombia, Guacacha region, South America. The date is Sunday in April 2015. Brian Rea is 31-year-old surfer and he's a co-founder of this Castino Beach surfing camp. Brian just ended his surfing session with his friends and they're now sitting on the board in this lagoon, feet dangling in the water, and they're talking to this fisherman about the crocodile supposedly roaming, 13-footer roaming their territory. When this river mouth had a current, Brian got hit by something. At first he thought it was a log, but in a few seconds the crocodile, this 13-footer, got him and take him under the water. This animal took him for a ride, death rolled him 45 seconds, he said. So friends came to help, they splashed around them, wanted to hit the animal with the board, nothing helped. Ray started striking the animal's head. He said it felt like a wall. The strength, he highlighted the strength of this crocodile. He said you can't imagine how much strength they have. He felt like a fly, that kind of size, American crocodile. This animal stopped for a second, still got Brian's leg in its jaws. Then the crocodile kind of released Brian and friends got him on the bank. But what happened next? Crocodile did follow Brian and his friends and got clamped on his other foot, second time. That was kind of amazing to me because American crocodiles aren't really known to do some aggression and that kind of predatory attempts. But this was as close as a predatory nature of American crocodile it can be. But I would say it's still a territorial, and dusk time, feeding time for the crocodiles, kind of a ringing the bell for lunch. But he was a experienced surfer, so very, very interesting attack. He did survive. It was, I would say, classified as territorial still behavior. This animal, he got to hospital. He had injuries on the first leg that this animal got him. He said after 4 months, he still got problems with the knee, didn't work properly. He will need a second surgery, quite some scars from that reptile. Time for what went wrong. For this case, I would say Brian did a mistake to hang around in the mouth of a river in the known habitat of American crocodiles, and also at dusk time. We know that reptiles are especially active at night or dusk. Basically, that's it for this case. And now we'll be going to third case in Myanmar. So for the third case, we go to Myanmar. That is South Asia, the village called Iwatit, and it's Bogale Township near the Meinmahla Kyun Sanctuary or island. Kyun is actually a word for island. About 2 miles from that island and that sanctuary, it's known that there are a lot of crocodiles there, saltwater crocodiles. The date of this attack is 29th of June, 2020. It's Monday and it's late morning. Ya Min Thu she is 9-year-old girl and she's doing her morning routine. Villages there are basically put on the edges of these river banks, and their bathroom, their laundry, their playground is the river also. They don't have really any options to not go into that river doing chores and stuff. This girl went hundreds of times. She went and played in that river. This day also she was splashing in a shallow water. There was no CEE or crocodile exclusion enclosures as the first case when Nuwanthika had entered the enclosures. Here in Myanmar, there were no exclusion of crocodiles. She was playing and grandmother was near her when suddenly a saltwater crocodile lunged at her. It actually grabbed her, clamped on her left hand, started dragging her immediately in the center of this river. Grandmother reacted really quickly, grabbed her right arm, have a bunch of tug of war with the crocodile. Now this reptile was really aggressive and didn't let go. Grandmother started screaming, and father and grandfather came to rescue. They picked some sticks and tools, immediately went into the water, start bashing that reptile and saved the girl. And reptile departed, let go of her hand, but did some damage. It broke her hand actually and did some puncture wounds on the flesh. But the most important thing, she survived that attack. Thankful to grandmother. She reacted really quickly, and then whole family basically came. This 9-year-old went to hospital in Bogale, so about 25 miles to the north of the island, and she did recover well. They don't say the size of the crocodile. I would assume it's less than 10 feet, but you never know. Because the late June is known, start of a monsoon, and females are aggressive because they are nesting, so they really get territorial, and I would put that as a territorial before the predation. Now what went wrong? As I say, people there didn't have any options to not use the river, but the mistake that this 9-year-old girl made was she bathed in the same spot, also splashing, and maybe unsupervised. She was alone, but grandmother was still quite close enough to help her. That's it for this case, and now we'll move to another Myanmar attack. So for a fourth and last attack, we stay in Myanmar, South Asia, Padekau village. Now this village is just across the water from the sanctuary of Meinmahla Kyun, and the date is 12th of October 2021. It's 5 p.m., start of the dusk time, prime feeding hours for predators. We have Sai Khant Zaw. He's a 16-year-old boy. He went with the uncles across the channel towards Meinmahla Kyun shores and catch crabs. Now, catching crabs or crabbing requires you to be really kind of close to the mud flats and hunched over. That is a problem because in the perspective of the crocodile, that silhouette is kind of really small. That's why some crocodiles think it's some animal, small animal, dogs or something, and they attack. Bigger you are, less likely you are to be attacked. But in this case, Khant Zaw was again focused on the ground where he was attacked and grabbed by the torso. He was dragged into the center of this channel so quickly, the uncles couldn't react quick enough. So because Khant Zaw was focusing on the ground, he likely never saw the crocodile coming. And as I say, took him by the torso, dragged him under. They didn't find the crocodile. It was a fatal attack by a saltwater crocodile. They say 12 feet, uncles, the witnesses say estimated. And it was a tragic one. As I say, near this Meinmahla Sanctuary, again, because of this dense population of crocodiles, it's estuarine crocodiles. It said in the news article, it's locations of freshwater crocodiles, but it's a clear mistake because it's near the delta and, it's brackish water, salty. It's a known habitat for saltwater crocodiles. Now, what went wrong here? I would say it's a mixture of things. Firstly, if they cross the channel on foot, that's a first mistake. Then crabbing requires, as I say, to be hunched over. Smaller target crocodile is attracted to dogs, smaller animals. Then, of course, the time, it's at dusk time, so not a good time to be outside in the water searching for crabs. I think that many mistakes are quite enough to find yourself in a lot of trouble, like the last case. And that's all 4 cases, guys. I hope you enjoy them. We see you in the next week. Take care, guys.